I started my freshman year of college at a university in my hometown that's pretty nice. I'm not going to share too much about it, but it has a smaller amount of students, but enough that you don't really run into people often. I lived on campus and was only 17 at the time. I had Tinder, of course, as I was fresh out of a relationship and looking to experience new things in college. I matched with this one boy, Asher, who seemed nice enough. Pretty socially awkward, but I never really minded because I have anxiety issues myself, and I was really sympathetic to it. Because of that, I ignored a lot of warning signs that I shouldn't have. We texted for a while and he seemed really nice and caring. He wanted to know a lot about me, which I wasn't too keen on sharing. But I told him the basics and we texted kind of regularly. He lived on campus as well and invited me to hang out. At that time, things didn't seem too sketchy, so I was completely down. When I first met him, that's when things started to get uncomfortable. We hung out in his dorm, which was pretty standard overall. I got cozy with him on his couch. I'd say almost cuddling, but not quite. Still really standard. When we started talking more, I realized how uncomfortable things really were. He kept making comments that just put me off, but I tried to ignore them. Things like, "I've never cuddled with anyone before, sorry if I'm doing it wrong." And so many comments about how he already liked me a lot and wanted me to stay forever. Weird word choice, but whatever. He's just trying to be nice, I'll let him down easy. I ended that hangout pretty quickly with some fake excuse and went right back to my room. He kept texting me and professing how much he was into me, and I told him sorry, but I'm not looking for any kind of a relationship, so I don't want to keep things romantic. A bad lie, but I'm very non-confrontational and didn't want to be mean. That's when things started to get really weird. He sent me this long paragraph saying about how it was okay I didn't want a relationship now, and that he'd wait for me and save his virginity for me. We had never talked anything sexual. I'd never even told him I liked him or flirted back. I just never turned him down. It was one of the creepiest messages I've ever received. Unfortunately, that was just the start of all the weird things to come. He wouldn't leave me alone even though I kept trying to de-escalate things, and I kept running into him all over campus. I wasn't sure how he suddenly was nearby when my classes ended, and I wasn't sure why we'd both be in the dining hall at the same times, even though I hadn't changed my regular routine, but I just tried to brush it off. Definitely a mistake. I ended up turning him down completely because I was getting creeped out and I couldn't figure out how he wasn't understanding that I didn't want anything romantic or sexual with him. He started guilt tripping me, telling me about how he was going to kill himself and no one is ever going to love him. I've been in a manipulative relationship in the past and I recognized that behavior right away and shut it down. I told him I couldn't be friends with him, and in my head, that was that. He didn't reply for a while, but when he did, all hell broke loose. I was luckily out of town at the time for a concert, so that made me feel a lot better. He went off. Sent me paragraph after paragraph about how horrible of a person I was, and how I was a slut and needed to get put in my place, etc., etc. Regular R/nice guy things. I could handle that. I just ignored it. Then, once the regret set in, he made it his mission to win my love however possible. He apologized profusely, told me how he couldn't be all alone and I was his only friend, and how much he loved me. Whatever, terrible, but I didn't care about that. Then I guess to prove his dedication, he did the creepiest thing yet. First he told me he was outside of my room. We did not live in the same dorm building, and you can't get into the buildings unless you live there. I don't know who let him in. I wasn't there and my roommate was out, so that was okay. I texted back at that point and told him to leave and how wrong and creepy that was, and he pulled out his last resort. He just sent me screenshots of my contact in his phone. On Apple devices you can fill in tons of information and have a note section. Everything was entirely full. He knew my home address, my room number on campus, my parents' and my brother's names, my pets' names, my schedule. It was terrifying because I'm a fairly private person. My Instagram is my only social media, and I don't even share that much on it. I don't think I'll ever find out how he discovered all of that about me. I blocked him on everything right away and reported him to the school. The school did nothing at all. I still see him on campus, and he still tries to approach me when he sees me. I always duck and run, and it's worked so far. To the terrifying Tinder match who may still be following me around to this day, let's not meet.
Hey scaredy cats, thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll never miss out on any of the stories. If you have any stories that you'd like for me to read, you can find the links for submissions in the description below.